the multi-billion-dollar blind spot. Every year, global health organizations and pharmaceutical giants pour billions of dollars into finding a cure for Parkinson's disease, framing it as a tragic, inevitable genetic lottery. But what if the medical establishment is looking at this crisis completely backward by ignoring how we are actively fueling it? The shocking truth is that over 80% of Parkinson's cases have absolutely nothing to do with your genetics, pointing instead to a massive man-made environmental crisis. By focusing entirely on treating the end-stage symptoms, rather than stopping the toxins we spray on our food, we are running on a medical treadmill that prioritizes profit over prevention. The poison on your plate. At the very center of this environmental disaster is a highly toxic herbicide called Paraquat, a chemical so deadly that a single accidental sip can be fatal. While 74 countries, including China, Brazil, and the entire European Union, have completely banned this weed killer due to its severe health risks, the United States continues to spray millions of pounds of it on agricultural crops every single year. Recent data reveals that living within just a quarter-mile of fields treated with Paraquat increases your risk of developing Parkinson's disease by a staggering 90%. This is no longer a localized farming issue. It is a systemic public health failure that is quietly poisoning our soil, our water, and our brains. How it destroys the brain. To truly think differently about this disease, we have to understand how Paraquat acts as a direct weapon against human biology. Once inhaled or ingested in microscopic amounts, this chemical crosses the blood-brain barrier and targets the substantia nigra, the exact region of the brain responsible for producing dopamine. It triggers a cascade of oxidative stress that systematically suffocates and kills these vital dopamine-producing neurons, mimicking the exact pathology of Parkinson's disease. Despite decades of clear, peer-reviewed scientific evidence linking this chemical to brain damage, regulatory agencies like the EPA have repeatedly delayed taking decisive action, leaving everyday citizens completely unprotected. Profiting from the cure, ignoring the cause. This brings us to an uncomfortable reality about the modern healthcare system. There is immense profit in treating chronic illness, but very little financial incentive in preventing it. Pharmaceutical companies make astronomical sums selling lifelong management drugs like levodopa and developing expensive brain implant technologies, while chemical conglomerates continue to profit from selling cheap, toxic herbicides. If we actually banned Paraquat and cleaned up our agricultural system, we would drastically reduce the pipeline of future Parkinson's patients, which would ultimately hurt the bottom line of these massive corporations. It is a self-sustaining cycle where the chemical industry poisons the population, and the medical industry charges a premium to manage the damage. Demanding a new paradigm. If we want to protect future generations, we must stop accepting the narrative that neurodegenerative diseases are just a natural byproduct of aging. We need to shift our collective focus from merely fundraising for a distant cure to actively demanding the immediate ban of known neurotoxins like Paraquat from our environment. Share this video to help expose this regulatory blind spot and start questioning the safety of the food and environments we take for granted every day. It is time to think differently, look past the corporate public relations campaigns, and realize that true healthcare begins with a clean, toxin-free world. In summary, this script exposes the deep hypocrisy of a global healthcare system that spends billions searching for a Parkinson's cure, while ignoring the widespread agricultural use of Paraquat, a highly toxic weed killer banned in 74 countries but still heavily sprayed in the United States. By explaining how this chemical directly destroys dopamine-producing brain cells and increases Parkinson's risk by 90%, the video challenges viewers to look past the genetic lottery myth of chronic illness. Ultimately, it calls for a paradigm shift away from profitable lifelong treatments and toward aggressive environmental prevention to stop this neurodegenerative crisis at its source. Alright fam, that's a wrap on today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, share this with a friend, drop a comment below, and subscribe to join the squad. Your support means everything. I'll see you in the next one.
Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Rich Hamilton.